differences between cremation and burial through the perspective of modern science. Excerpt from the video The Difference Between Cremation and Burial from a Modern Scientific Perspective Part 1. Part 2 and Part 3, published in August and September 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, and relatives. Before going into the content sharing, please allow me to briefly summarize the meaning of cremation and burial. Funeral. Cremation is the incineration of the entire dead physical being, in order to neutralize the electromagnetic purity as quickly as possible, so that the soul is no longer lingering, trapped, and soon released from circulation in space, or reside in an appropriate spatial extent. The earth burial is for the purpose of preserving the dead physical body buried in the ground for a long time, in order to keep the electromagnetic purity in the bones, that is, to keep the pure connection of electromagnetic with electromagnetic systems. Other have the same stratum and form to perform sympathies, spiritual communions. Perhaps based on this principle, we Vietnamese from ancient times to the present attach great importance to choosing a good, high place to bury the dead bodies of grandparents and parents, with the aim of preserving pure electromagnetism in the bones of grandparents, parents, to spiritually communicate with children and grandchildren. Now it's time to share the common sense of electromagnetic purity. For example, an electrician applies an electric current to a battery for 1 hour. The battery will have the electrical capacity to turn two 60-watt light bulbs red in 24 hours. When the electricity ran out, the worker also let the current continue to flow into the battery for 58 minutes. The battery also had the capacity to light up two 60-watt bulbs in 24 hours. The 2-minute time reduction is due to the amount of electricity remaining in the physical body of the vessel. That residual current is pure electromagnetic. Another example. The carpenter, they sawed the long dead wood. When using the saw to split into planks, the saw blade collided, rubbed against the hardwood core, emitting fire. That is the principle. When two hard objects rub against each other, fire will be created. But it was that splash of fire that had some electromagnetic refinement in it. On the contrary, if sawing into rotten wood, mixed wood, without a hard core, there will be no splashing fire. Or when we rub two hard stones together, they also burst into flames. On the contrary, rubbing a hard stone against an terracotta brick will not cause fire to explode. That shows us that the harder the dead physical being, the longer the electromagnetic purity. On the contrary, if the entire body of the dead body is burned, the electromagnetic purity will no longer exist. So the connection and sympathetic resonance with other electromagnetic flows no longer have the opportunity to perform. That is the difference between cremation and earth cremation. Next is to share about the pure electromagnetic connection in the dead physical being in the solid form, made with the electromagnetic remaining in space, or the electricity from the living person. This is a relatively difficult case to understand, so I think we need to have some new knowledge about modern science. The basic concept of modern science is the extremely sophisticated development of science in the invisible realm, such as electric waves, sound, light, and so on. It is also the period when science has confirmed that humans have the ability to connect and communicate with invisible phenomena in the universe. Now, let's list some facts that science has revealed and discovered, so that we can study, learn, and equip our new thinking. Around the middle of the 20th century, some scientists talked about electron as an atomic particle moving around the nucleus, including proton, photon, neutron. When an electron moves freely in a certain direction, an electric current is generated. Electrostatic electricity is not the flow of electrons, it points to objects with more or less electrons, to balance the positive area of the nucleus. That is the principle of electromagnetic circulation in space. However, this concept has contradictions among three great scientists, Werner Heisenberg, Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr. According to Werner Heisenberg, the electron can be a particle, it can be a wave, or it can be nothing that humans do not know. And Albert Einstein said that electron is an atomic particle with pin measurement, mass, and volume. As for Niels Bohr, the electron is just a wave. The controversy between Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr lasted until 1982, when Alain Aspect successfully experimented with two holes in electron, and confirmed that electron is an electric wave. Electron will appear when there is a wave emitted from the sensor, i.e. the sensor of the device. Or have good follow-up, human observation. This tells us that humans are always sending out electric waves into space. Without people or equipment to observe, according to Good, then the electron is just an invisible wave. This principle we all experience with smartphones, because information on the internet is present everywhere, all the time. When the electron becomes a visible particle, it immediately appears on the phone screen in the form of text, sound, image, or film. That is the regular principle that we have shared in the video, the law of reincarnation and causation. And the video, Shakyamuni is a great idealist, a genius scientist. Next is the proof. Demonstrate electromagnetic purity in solid physical entities with electromagnetic reception and coordination that persists in space. For example, solid precious stone statues, such as the statue of Mary, the statue of Kwanum Bodhisattva, or the statue of Saint Tranhong Dao, etc. The statues encounter a powerful electromagnetic current in space that circulates through the center of the statue and conducts electromagnetic transmission according to the principle of electromagnetic energy coordination. The electromagnetic current circulating in that space is too strong, while the pure electromagnetic flow of the dead physical body of the statue is too weak. The difference between high and low is too sudden, causing the statue to get wrinkles, sometimes even cracks. It is caused by heaven and earth. In short, this can be called Thien Li, Thien Dao. Now is the case for humanity. Example. A statue of the Virgin Mary in the church is looking towards the parishioners, while thousands and tens of thousands of followers are facing the statue, and are praying for a certain purpose. Thus, thousands, tens of thousands, of believers' brainwaves emitting into space have formed a very strong synthetic electromagnetic source towards the statue. Then transmitted and coordinated this electromagnetic difference. Unusual, causing the statue to have wrinkles, especially the sad phenomenon that occurs on the face of the statue. In this case it is relatively easy. This is the reason people say Our Lady is sad. Our Lady weeps, because she sympathizes with their prayers. The second case is also man-made, with some purpose. Pre-calculated. For example, people use a generator to keep the statue at a suitable distance, and then put the generator right into the statue, and the statue also has wrinkles, or cracks. Because of the current, the cooperative power of the machine is too strong. Through the latter two cases, both are man-made, only different in purpose. I think in today's civilized life, every human being needs to understand the above cases in order to behave rationally, in accordance with God's way, and in harmony with people. Ladies and gentlemen, the discovery of electromagnetic purity in the dead physical being, of tangible beings has helped us to rely on modern science to explain and prove it. The above cases, especially in the case of pure electromagnetism remaining in human bones, it will help us to justify the concept of burial in the traditional culture of the Vietnamese nation, which is consistent with modern science. In this case, recently, I had a video sharing about our ancestors' grave buried in good soil. So it has kept the electromagnetic purity in the bones for a long time, and has helped me understand some more things. Events in the land. That understanding is based on a scientific basis according to the following mathematical formula. A is my brainwave emitting into space. B is the residual electromagnetic wave of my nest in space. C is the pure electromagnetic field of my ancestor still in the bones in the grave. My brainwave A, which will connect and sympathize with the electromagnetic wave B of my nest, is circulating in space because it has the same formation and calculation form. Electromagnetic waves B will perform sympathies with pure electromagnetics C, because they have the same physical substance before they were alive. Thus A sympathizes with B and B sympathizes with C. Hence A will also sympathize with C. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the scientific basis of the pure electromagnetic principle. To explain the relationship between the visible world and the invisible world. On this basis, we can share that the phenomenon of Vietnamese psychics is a real phenomenon because it is very consistent with modern science. Hope you follow well to watch or listen to the upcoming video. Finally, I wish you and your family all the best. Regards, Phula and Phuong Go. The USA. October 18, 2022.